And Dr. Aron's got a neat little acronym she uses to describe the trait. It's an acronym that forms the word does or D or do's. I don't know. She's got it both ways. It's DOES. And D stands for depth of processing. This is the one thing that we do more, as you talked about, that depth. That is something that really resonates with a lot of highly sensitive people, is the fact that we take things and deep dive on it, right? We take information. Sometimes it can get locked into rumination and overthinking, but for the most part, we take information and grind it down so that we get every bit of data we can get out of it, every bit of information we can get out of it. The second thing is a tendency towards overstimulation, or what we all like to call overwhelm, which is we just get bombarded. If you've got your aperture for picking up sensory data open wide all the time, which is what we tend to have, you're going to get overwhelmed if you're out and about in the world. And so we need time to recuperate, rest, and so we do need this downtime so that we can get ourselves recalibrated and get back out in the world again. The third letter, E, has actually a double meaning. It has we have a huge capacity for empathy. We use our mirror neurons. We see people. We can empathize with them at a very deep level. And so that tends to color the way we interact with people. We can feel their pain. We can feel their happiness. We can feel all kinds of things. Nothing magical about it. It's based in science. It's saying the mirror neurons process in our brains. The other part of it is the emotional reactivity part. We tend to be fairly emotional people. Things move us. Things affect us. And largely because of our sort of emotional makeup. And then finally, there's the last letter, S, which is, I like to think of it as sensory acuity, but what Dr. Aron spells it out is picking up sensory subtleties. These are things like, in the environment where you're picking up things that other people aren't seeing or hearing or whatever. And it's that nuancing ability, I think, that gives us one of our greatest gifts, and that's the ability to find things around us and be able to make connections, connect the dots. Helps a lot with creativity. If you're in the creative areas, that's one of the reasons why so many musicians, artists, writers are highly sensitive people, because they have that capacity for creativity. And part of that is being able to pick things out and see things in a different way than a lot of people do. So those four letters, DOES, depth of processing, overstimulation, emotional reactivity, and empathy, and sensory subtleties. That's what makes us highly sensitive.